All right, and we're back, everyone. Let's take a look at conditions here. Again, we still have an active tornado warning in Alabama for Jackson County. This storm has made its way past Stevenson, Alabama, and Bridgeport, Alabama. And we're starting to see, here, let me go a couple of slides back. The area we were originally looking at and what kind of spawned all of this commotion is this gap right here around Stevenson and up in here around Bridgeport. There's a gap right here, but if you look, you see some points of strong winds and some evidence of rotation. All things we were keeping an eye on. So that's what set off this tornado warning. And we're going to keep a close eye on things. Yeah, we were seeing winds. If you look on the right side of the screen, around 75, I even saw a little bit of 80 in there. So even if there was not a tornado on the ground, we still had some very strong winds in the area. It was a very strong storm. Okay, so that's what we were seeing. What are we seeing now? And let's take a look here. We have a bowed section of the storm, and that usually is an indicator of some strong winds still existing within the storm. We're going to watch areas with little gaps like here, maybe here, and here. That does not mean that these are dangerous sections of this storm. Those are markers and indicators of places we're going to keep an eye on. Right now, let's see what the winds are currently doing. Here I'm going to pull up the velocities map large so everybody can see it. So you can see we do have some very strong winds out here west of Bridgeport in the 76 mile per hour area. And you are likely getting a severe thunderstorm notification on your phone right now. It just came across my phone. Like I say, this is actually posing to be a very strong, I'm going to go ahead and say this is a very dangerous thunderstorm. It is south of South Pittsburgh. I mean, we're seeing winds around 80 miles per hour, damage threat, destructive, all of those indicators. When you look here and you see these pinks and these oranges, that is an indication of very strong winds. So currently it's right in the corner of Alabama, heading up towards Tennessee, Marion County. This storm is on its way towards Hamilton County. It is starting to creep back up at that line, but you also look, you know, it's kind of stalled out at this Alabama-Tennessee line. It's starting to push its way up. Helltown needs to be ready for very powerful winds. Whiteside, Lads, Vulcan, Nickajack Lake, Kimball. It's still going to be gusty and windy in your area. Down in Alabama, we're seeing strong winds also approach Shiloh, Fairview, and it's making its way towards Dade County and really all these Georgia counties right here. So if you are within a North Georgia county, be on the lookout, be alert, be ready. You have some very strong storm winds headed in your direction. That does not mean there's a tornado, but we're talking about straight winds that could be just as strong. All right, so we have people asking when is it going to hit. I will say right now, just asking when it's going to hit does not give me a lot of information or ways to answer because I don't know where you are asking when it's going to hit. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and take a look at the speed of these storms. They're actually moving really fast, 48. We're looking at 44 there, 37. So we're going to say they're moving probably about, I'm going to stick with the 48 because this whole cluster seems to be moving about the same speed. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to plot out that movement. Give me just a moment here. Let's go back to the radar. And so I'm going to cover this strong section. If I do not mention you, that does not mean you're not going to get a storm. It just means you're not going to get a dangerous storm. All right, we're going to calculate. I have people, somebody's calling me. I don't know that phone number. Okay, I'm doing my best here, folks. Just bear with me. I had to jump right into this. There we go. All right, let's recalculate. All right, so these strong wind sections of the storms are going to be reaching these areas at these times. Trenton, 6:08 p.m. Eastern. Lads, 5:12 p.m. Central. Whiteside, 5:12 p.m. Central. Haletown, 5:13 p.m. Central. Mineral Springs, 5:19 p.m. Central. Lookout Mountain, 6:21. Lookout Valley, 6:21. Prentice Cooper State Park area, around 5:22 Central. Chickamauga, around 6:23, and then Rossville at 6:25, and Chattanooga at 6:26. Fort Oglethorpe, 6:27. Balmoral, 6:27. East Ridge, around 6:28. Ridgeside, 6:28. Red Bank, 6:30. Lupton City, 6:31. So we're seeing around 6:30 for all of these areas within Hamilton County, a little after 6:30. Ringgold, Harrison around 6:36, 6:39. Tunnel Hill, 6:41. Collegedale, around 6:45. Collegedale and Apison. And if it continues on towards the Cleveland area, 6:57. I've got a lot of stuff going on here. Keeping a close eye on this. I'm going to make a quick phone call, but I'm right here to update. I'm just going to cut the mute for a sec, or the mic for a second. I'm back on. We have a new tornado warning out. And like I say, I don't see a lot of strong rotation in this area still, but I will say we're seeing winds in the relative area of tornado possible damage. So here, let's go to relative velocity. I'm seeing these little pockets right here on possible rotation building. And then there's some strong relative winds down here south of Shiloh, Alabama. We're going to go back to the regular velocity and keep an eye on these very strong pockets here. At this point, I'm not really worried about determining back and forth between tornado and these strong winds because they both can be equally as damaging. Currently, we have this strongest set of winds around in some places even over 80 miles an hour, around 84 miles an hour, heading towards, it should be probably right over Whiteside, Tennessee now, Dade County, between Helltown down into Dade County, down to Trenton, and those winds are making their way towards Trenton, and then continuing down around Rising, Fawn, Georgia. Very, very strong winds in these storms. I'll tell you right now, if you are in the Lookout Mountain area, East Ridge area, downtown Chattanooga, East Ridge, secure things very quickly. If you can't do it within 5 minutes, forget it and get inside, get into a place away from windows. Basically, we're going to treat these winds like a tornado situation at the moment because they are so strong. These winds are moving basically from west to east. So the east side of your house is going to be the safest part right now. It's best to go towards the center of your house, but if you're in something small, like a trailer or something like that, the east side of your house is going to be the best part. It's hard to see where the sun is right now because we have clouds and storms, but if you know where the sun typically sets, the east side is going to be on the opposite side of that. I've got some people saying something about some music. Not sure where the music is coming from. I don't have any other audio active on here. But yes, again, we have a tornado warning that's out for the Trenton area over towards Chickamauga and Ringgold and Tunnel Hill. And these winds are continuing to ride right along the Tennessee state line. I am paying attention. I'm just keeping up with some people. Okay. Okay, we have a new radar scan coming in, and this storm is continuing to move at a pretty good speed. We are approaching the edge of Hamilton County now with this new radar scan. We are still looking at, they are describing 80 mile per hour destructive winds with this storm. Let's scroll out just to get that off. There we go. All right, these winds are directly over Whiteside right now, currently south of Prentice Cooper State Forest. Trenton, you're getting some stronger winds, but the strongest winds are between Helltown and Trenton still. We do have on this lower section, it's kind of curling back. I'm keeping a close eye around, either towards Lafayette right now to see if we have any characteristics of rotation. Sometimes as we get these very strong winds pushing through, we can get this rotation. It's kind of like, think of a bathtub and you're sweeping your arm across the bathwater. Your arm would be these strong winds in the storm, and sometimes you see that water kind of swirl past your hand. It's the same thing. So we are going to keep an eye on that. I'm just letting you know areas we don't have any hazards right now, but we could potentially have hazards. Even though we have these very strong damaging winds in this orange-white area, these pinks are still areas to be cautious in. We have gusts around 40 to 50 miles per hour. Still be cautious. Could be down trees and things like that. And we're continuing to progress. We've got a new radar scan. I'm going to pull up the relative velocity on the left side of the screen so I can continue to look. We're going to keep checking back here and look for pockets of rotation. We have such strong, forceful winds that is something awesome. Flat Rock, Alabama. Currently, let's see. Flat Rock. just going to do this the easy way. That did not take me anywhere near where I wanted to go. All right, so we're going to get away from that. We're going to go back down here. Most of the area around Alabama is clear of the most dangerous part of this storm. The area from Shiloh down towards Henniger, still watching these. We do have some rotation, looks like around Old Blevins Mill. It's light rotation. I'm going to watch. This could be indications of a possible small tornado. So if you're north of Old Blevins Mill, in the direction of Rising Fawn, Georgia, be careful, take cover. We do not have a tornado warning out on this pocket of rotation right now. I would say take cover anyways, or at least prepare. It's going to be a better safe than sorry situation. I'm going to look at the correlation coefficient here. See, we've got a little bit of, then this is past Flat Rock. I've found Flat Rock on the map now. We've got a little bit of non-correlation around between Flat Rock and Fairview, not at Flat Rock. So this is going to be close to County Road 155 in Fairview now. In these areas, Fairview, Deerhead Cove, I would say be careful, be cautious. Because of these strong, heavy winds, there may be a lot of attention being put on those winds, and there may not be a lot of focus on that small pocket of rotation down there. All right, so let's come back out, look at these very strong winds. We have a more organized set of winds now in Georgia, south of West Brow, north of Jamesburg, heading towards Hinkles, out towards Wallaceville. Right now, I would say if you're anywhere from Pond Spring, Georgia, up to, let's say, Signal Mountain area in Tennessee. If you are between Signal Mountain and Chickamauga, Georgia, prepare for very strong, damaging storm winds that have been radar indicated at 80 to, in some places, above 85 miles an hour. This is a very dangerous storm. These are very widespread damaging winds. Take cover right now. I don't know why there's music going off. I don't have any other microphones turned on here. I don't know how it's coming in. I apologize, and I'm not going to sit here and research that right now, just because of the situation we're in. If you do have a place that has a tornado siren, I hear that tornado sirens are going off in Chickamauga. Those are really going to be going off because we have a very damaging storm heading in that direction, not necessarily with a tornado, but with potential as strong as a tornado, and there might be one embedded in a little gap of just east of Jamesburg, between Jamesburg and Wallaceville. Again, right now, not looking specifically at tornadoes. I'm looking at the whole spectrum because we do have winds that are as strong as currently. Lookout Mountain, you just picked up a pocket of winds out ahead of the main pocket of winds. So Lookout Mountain area along, basically going up Lookout Mountain, over the top of Lookout Mountain, getting ready to approach Alton Park. And the Amigos out there. Ruby Falls. The 24 split at 24 and 27. Highway 27 right there. Unfortunately, the Ridge Cut. Basically, if you are in East Chattanooga, downtown Chattanooga, all the way up to North Chattanooga, up towards Hickson, be prepared, be ready. You have a very dangerous, strong winded thunderstorm heading in your direction. Honestly, I'll be honest, I don't know if I've ever seen winds this strong and this large of an area last this long before. So this is something that is pretty wild. I'm going to continue to keep a very close eye on this. Taking a shot for historic records. All right, so let's go ahead. I'm seeing this gap right here. Sometimes I hate these warnings. There we go. I'm seeing this gap right here around Tiftonia, heading towards Moccasin Bend. I'm keeping a close eye on that. Like I say, those can be indicators of possible rotation. We do have still some fairly strong winds heading towards Lafayette and Chickamauga. The bulk of this storm is heading more but Chickamauga up towards Chattanooga. It's a very strong storm, and I am not seeing weakening within the storm currently. All right, so let's take a look at relative velocity. Not seeing any huge indications of rotation right now. So I'm going to go back to regular velocity, and then let's plot the speed and timing on these storms again. If you're leaving comments and asking questions, I apologize. I'm not looking over there towards that side a lot right now because I want to make sure I do not miss anything within this storm. All right. Timing plots for this storm. Rossville around 620. Chattanooga 623. Fort Oglethorpe and Eastridge 623. Ridgeside 624. Chickamauga 625. Balmoral 628. Lupton City 629. Red Bank around 629. Tyner 631. Ringgold 633. Harrison 635. Collegedale 638, Appleton 639, Barnell 643, Cohutta 644, McDonald 644, Cleveland 653, and we're going to cut that right now. You know what? I'm going to put that back up. I'm going to kind of leave this up in the corner. So you can keep an eye on that, and I will update that as we go. Not seeing these winds weaken with the newest scan, but I am seeing that area condense a little bit. Lookout Mountain to Tiftonia, you are getting incredibly strong winds right now. Chattanooga, you should already be prepared for these very strong winds to approach. Again, these winds are coming from the west, really kind of west-southwest. If you have a weak structure, get to the east side. If you have a larger structure, house or building, get to the central area. These are very strong storms, and they do have the potential to do some damage. We are seeing those winds. The radar indication of those winds were pushing around 88 at the strongest, and right now I'm seeing 83. That means that we've got some sign of some weakening. Down further south in Georgia, we have 72 to 79, so we have very strong winds in these areas. Let's zoom in and see specifically where these are. Again, I'm watching this little pocket area around Hayesville, heading towards Chickamauga. There could be possible rotation, possible tornado within that area, and you are currently within a tornado warning. Right now, I think tornado warning and these winds are equally as dangerous. So if you're within any of these areas, please, please, please get to coverage now. All right, Chickamauga, you're getting close to this storm approaching you. Fort Oglethorpe, you're just outside of this newest scan. Waverly Park, McDonald Acres, Noonan Springs, Brookville Estates in Georgia. This storm getting ready to come on top of you now. 75-24 split area. If you are on the interstate, coming up 75, coming down 75, or on 24 near Brainerd, it would be a good opportunity to get off the interstate and get somewhere safe. Now, the storm is very close to you. Chattanooga Airport to Brainerd to East Chattanooga, this storm is getting very close to you as well. Up towards Lupton City, it's approaching you. We are seeing these winds break off right around North Chattanooga. So it's almost like North Chattanooga's seeing regular storm related winds, and then the other side of the river are seeing damaging strong winds. All right, let me come over to the other side and check some of these comments. I know that you probably have a lot of questions. I've got a question about where is the tornado? There is a possibility. We have a tornado warning, and we have a little gap right here heading in the direction of Chickamauga. But again, the way these winds are going, I would say prepare regardless of where the possible tornado might be, because some of these winds are equally as strong, if not stronger, than what possibly could be there. So go ahead and use caution across the entire area. Anything for Saudi Daisy? It is staying more towards the Chattanooga downtown area. Kristen. There you go, Kristen. Sorry if I mispronounced that. It is staying more towards the downtown Chattanooga area. Saudi Daisy is going to see some storminess, nowhere near the damaging potential that we have around downtown Chattanooga and Lookout Mountain right now. Very heavy rain and wind in Rossville and Chattanooga. All right, so seeing a lot of just specifically asking about areas. So soon I will do another timing update. I will show you and list to you the areas that should be ready and cautious. And if I name your area, then you should be ready and cautious. If you don't hear it, then there's not a reason to ask about it. On a quick note, this is the little bit of good news within the chaotic storm situation we have right now. Since we did build this stronger line, we should not have any storms after this main set of storms tonight. So this will not look like an overnight storm threat. Okay, let's go back in. Let's check some of these cell speeds. 42, this is probably going to say 48 or 24. All right, so it looks like the main storm itself is slowing down a bit. We are getting smaller winds off of this storm, a smaller area of damaging winds off of the storm. Could have a little bit to do with the interaction between the mountains and the river. We know that that has interaction. That does not mean it gets weaker. It just changes the formation and the way things go. All right, so I'm going to scroll out. I have to scroll out to get a good plot here. We're still seeing, we'll say that we've got movement around 35, we'll say 40. All right, so we're going to draw our line. I'm actually going to redraw that because we just got a new scan. So I'm just going to put that there. This will give us more updated times. This very strong bowed thunderstorm section is heading in this direction. For all of the people asking about their specific areas, if you are within any of this blue area, you need to be prepared for a very strong thunderstorm. You need to be prepared for possible damaging conditions. I'm going to leave this up for a little bit so you have a moment to take a look and see where you are. I'm going to scroll in a little bit to help as well. On the left side of the screen, you have a nice guide of what times we're looking at for these storms to arrive in these areas. We are seeing this storm slow down a little bit. So if you had already looked at your area a little while ago when I posted them up, recheck those times now. I'm going to let that sit for a second. Then I'm going to go back and take a look at this pocket of winds and see if they are strengthening and if they are changing direction. Your eyes can't see that. You should be able to zoom in on the video. I'll go ahead and read through these. Here, you know what? Let's do this. All right, I'm going to read through. And if you're close to these areas, consider these areas counting you as well. Ringgold, 6:35 p.m. Tyner, 6:36 p.m. Harrison, 6:40. Collegeville, 6:41. Tunnel Hill, 6:42. Apison, 6:42. Lafayette, 6:44. Varnell, 6:45. Middle Valley, 6:46. Cohutta, 6:46. Lakeside, 6:48. McDonald, 6:48. That would be McDonald. That's going to be McDonald, Georgia. Dalton, 6:50. Shady Grove, 6:52. Cleveland, 6:57. Eaton, 7:01. Conasauga, 7:02. Old Fort and Tasso, 7:03. Ballplay, 7:04. Ocoee, 7:05. Same thing with Cohutta Wildlife. Benton Station in Charleston, 7:10. Calhoun and Benton, 7:11. Benton Springs and Cohutta Wilderness, 7:12. Claxton and Delano, Claxton, 7:17. Delano, 7:21. Reliance, 7:22. Little Frog Mountain Wilderness, 7:23. Etowah, 7:25. Ducktown, 7:27. McKaysville, 7:27. Harbuck, 7:28. Belltown, 7:28. Turtletown, 7:30. Farner, 7:33. And Coker Creek at 7:38. Okay, so that is your list. I will scroll back through slowly so you can take a look one more time. Again, these are not all the areas. If you live closer between these areas, this includes you. For instance, if you think about Ooltewah is around Apison, Collegedale, and Harrison. So, around 640, 642. All right, I'm going to split the screen back. We're going to come back in. We're going to look at these winds. Right now, the winds are centered past Rossville and Fort Oglethorpe. They're making their way out. The bulk of these winds are around Brainerd. We still have, down to Fort Oglethorpe, we still have a tornado warning to the south of that area. Seeing a little bump, possible interesting area south of Chickamauga. This is going to be heading in the direction of Beaumont, Mount Pisgah, Pleasant Grove. I've got a lot of stuff in a monitoring thing. Just checking some things. I have people from time to time send me actual, sorry, my brain's going 1,000 miles a minute right now. People sometimes send me conditions from specific areas, so I was checking to see if somebody had sent me cited conditions. But Basically, what I'm hearing generally out around right now is just wherever these storms are going over, it's pretty bad. Um, but I'm not hearing about a lot of damage yet. We'll get to that here in a minute. We are seeing these very strong winds ride right along the Tennessee Georgia line. Um, they're around Camp Jordan right now, East Ridge. You know, I would say right along that Georgia line. This is getting smaller. I don't like that. There we go. This is getting smaller as far as the way these winds are built. That does not mean it's going to stay smaller. We're going to keep an eye on it. We're still seeing this bowed formation, and that continues to show possibility of these strong winds. Okay, so I'm seeing a thing pop up. I think when people send me these stars, I think that may be what's causing the music. I don't know. I appreciate the stars. I don't know what they do, but they're stars, so I appreciate it. Working hard over here. All right, so these winds are taking up a less massive area. They are riding right along the Georgia-Tennessee line. They are continuing to do so now that we have this new scan, and they are heading, interestingly enough, directly towards my house. I'm going to go ahead and mute the mic for a second and just give my family a heads up, but I'm right here. Okay. Sorry about that. I'm going to make sure that these people stay safe here as well. All right. Let's go back and see if we have any other reports. Nothing super specific. Got some photos. Let's see. That photo is of the warning and when everything was coming out. Okay. Let's zoom back out. I am seeing this storm slowing down. I'm seeing things kind of broaden. I'm still seeing these strong winds right here around the edge. I'm still not seeing anything significant down here in this tornado warning as far as anything stated on the ground. Everything's being said that it is radar indicated. I am seeing a small pocket of a rotating storm right here around Mount Pisgah heading in the direction of Tunnel Hill. This is going to be Tunnel Hill between North Farnell Road and Rocky Face. And we have the winds at my house now. Very strong winds. Okay. Sitting here looking at one of these days, I need to get a weather station for my house. I do a lot of relying on other areas, other people's stations, things like that have donated me the time on their station. But I will say we do have some very strong winds. They're moving across. They are moving from the west from here. Tree motion looks pretty good, and we've got some heavy rain. It looks like a good storm. The strongest winds have not gotten to my house yet, so I can't tell you much. We are seeing these winds kind of curl up and make their way a little bit more towards the Ulua area, so right along Ulua, Tyner. Let's see here. I'm watching out these. They're going to go towards right through the main area of Collegedale. Um, and then we've got, okay. All right, so this section that's kind of pushed its way up, it's going to make its way right around Four Corners, Collegedale, Appleton, towards the Appleton Airport. We have some calming of the winds here now. Let me take a look at something here. Okay, I'm back. I had to take care of something real quick. So yeah, seeing these winds move right over through Holly Hills right now, making their way towards Four Corners, Collegedale area, the main Collegedale area. I'm in communications with people in Collegedale right now, making sure they stay safe. If you are in the Collegedale area, get inside and get towards the east side of the building. We are seeing these winds ride right along the Tennessee-Georgia line as well, and they're basically making their way right towards Collegedale, Appleton, and McDonald Road. Blair Road, Old Alabama Road, the airport, Wesleyan Road. These are the areas those winds are heading towards right now. All right. We've had quite a bit of movement of the storm, so I'm going to bring up another timing update. Still moving around, generally around 40 knots. That tornado warning has now expired for that storm section heading towards Tunnel Hill. So we're going to keep it just right along here. I don't want to get outside of my coverage area, so I'm just talking about too many areas. All right, timing update for these storms. Barnell, 6:47, as well as Tunnel Hill. Cohutta, 6:48 p.m. Dalton, 6:55 p.m. Cleveland, 7:01. Eaton, 7:03. Chatsworth, 7:05. Cohutta Wildlife Management, 7:07. Ocoee, 7:08. Benton, 7:14, and then out towards Ducktown, McCaysville, and Farner around 7:29 to 7:35. And that is for the area that is experiencing the worst part of these storms. Again, there are storms in other areas. We're keeping a close eye on them. Lakeside, you have a stronger thunderstorm in your area right now. Let's go take a look at those winds, make sure they're not strengthening too much. So you're having some more like our typical storm winds around that area. Main winds around their higher 40s to 50s with some gusts around 60 miles per hour. All right, we are having a kind of a restructuring of these stronger winds heading towards the Appleton area. They're making their way towards the back end of Appison now.